Hi, I'm Andrea Alliston. I'm a partner at Stikeman Elliott, and I'm responsible for our knowledge management and innovation initiatives.
And I'm Shaunalee Moulton, Director of Governance and Legal Operations at Siemens Canada.
Siemens Canada and Stikeman Elliott work together on a legal operations secondment. A member of the Siemens Canada legal team came and joined us for 2 months and worked on a range of legal operations projects. Both of our organizations benefited from this experience, so we wanted to share it with you because we think others may want to try it. This really all started when Shaunalee and Richard Brait, the General Counsel at Siemens Canada, gave me a call with a proposal in connection with a role that we were recruiting for. Shaunalee, can you talk a little bit about how that came about on your side?
Absolutely. Our Assistant General Counsel, Dan Dagan, had a brilliant idea to take one of our legal team members and put them into a knowledge management group at a leading law firm, one that we work with. And shortly after Dan was talking about this, we came across the advertisement that Stikeman had put in the ORs for the legal technology applications lawyer position. So we discussed it, and we decided to call Andrea to see if she would consider using somebody from our team to fill that short-term need of hers until she found a permanent candidate. What we were looking for is for someone from our team to go be fully immersed in her team and come back to us with some real user experience at learning the knowledge management best practices and learning about innovative legal technologies that our law department could benefit from.
So it really took some creative thinking on the part of both Siemens Canada and ourselves to envision how a short-term secondment like this could work. Shaunalee and I worked really closely together to set out the key roles and objectives. But once we knew we were moving ahead, how did you proceed with the recruitment?
We had a very detailed overview of what this secondment would entail. Andrea and I had discussed the legal technologies that he or she would be testing and the development opportunities that would be available. So we were able to provide a very detailed overview of this to our team. We rolled that out to everybody in our legal department so that everybody would have an opportunity to consider this next step in their career. And we came down to 2 candidates that were very keen and were both well positioned to take on this secondment. What we also looked at is we wanted somebody to be able to go and bring back to our team what they've learned to help us move ahead our legal operations agenda.
And so you presented us with 2 candidates, and we decided to interview both of them. We thought that the formal interview process was really valuable, both for ourselves and for the candidate. From our perspective, it really let us get a sense about their interest in legal operations and the legal technologies that they'd be exposed to. And I think from their perspective, it let them see more what the day-to-day work would be like and also what it would be like working with us. Once we'd met everyone, we then conferred with Shaunalee and Richard, and it became very clear that Grant Jackman, who is then the contracts manager, would be absolutely perfect for the role.
In advance of this secondment beginning, Andrea and I worked closely together to develop activities and talk about exactly what this secondee would be working on. So there's a lot of prep work involved.
It was so important to do that because the secondment was so short. We only had 2 months, which meant we really had to outline those objectives and goals that both of our organizations had. And then from our side, we also had a very clear list of deliverables that we wanted to be accomplished during the time period. So we really tried to create a balance between KM operations, new legal technologies and being exposed to those, and then also the opportunity to really build out some of the legal applications that we have. The other thing that we did build into the program was what we now call the KM Boot Camp, which was a detailed instruction and information and best practices that we gave to Grant on a variety of KM topics, such as enterprise search, taxonomy management, content management, precedent management, and innovative legal technology. You also had some objectives that you really wanted to make sure we tackled.
Yes. Another really important element that we wanted to achieve here was to have Grant work with and assist Stikeman's in developing a legal design workshop that we were planning to hold. What we wanted Grant to be able to learn was the Stikeman methodology for legal design process. The intent of that workshop is that we wanted to be able to get the best ideas that we wanted to use for developing our knowledge management approach going forward in the Siemens legal department. So Grant learned that, and he worked with Andrea and members of our department, and he put together that workshop that we ran,
Which was great.
which was terrific.
So once it started, the secondment went really quickly, although I feel we were able to achieve a lot. What was the most important thing that you got out of it from your perspective?
To start, Siemens had the opportunity to use existing technologies that Stegman Elliott already had, legal technologies that we don't have in our own department right now. Grant could go in and he had the ability to see the capabilities of all of these technologies, and it was far beyond any typical vendor demo that he would ever be offered. So that was really great for him. Grant was very fortunate that members of the KM team could provide him with guidance and training on the skills he needs to be able to assess the legal technologies that were going to be tested by Stikeman. And not only that, but Stikeman let us bring in Siemens contracts that we could evaluate. And so Grant was able to take those and look beyond the typical M&A approach that he was looking at with this contract analysis tool. And he could see how it could apply to some of the commercial activities that our team engages in on a day-to-day basis with our customers and supplier contracts.
And then from our perspective, as I said, we had a detailed list of deliverables, and Grant actually made a lot of great progress on those, including a document automation project that he worked on and building out one of the decision trees in our expert system. Another thing was that he really helped facilitate 2 proofs of concept that we were doing on new legal technologies. And I think, from Siemens' perspective, as you said, it gave you insight into that technology without having to do your own proof of concept. And then from our perspective, having him kick the tires alongside us gave us insight into your views on the technology, which is something that we otherwise would not have had.
This was a brand new initiative for Stegman Elliott. Is there anything that happened that you didn't foresee? Anything come up that was unexpected?
The one thing that I've thought about is that by embedding Grant into our KM team, we did expose him to everything that happens on a day-to-day basis as we are managing and building our own KM operations. And by giving him full access to all of that, and by virtue of him giving Siemens to full access to all of that, it really exposed him to all of the challenges, frustrations, successes that we experience in building and operating a KM program such as ourselves. So that was very new and novel to us.
From our perspective, we were just really excited to have Grant exposed to such an advanced legal operations environment. We did not appreciate how advanced Stegman Elliott is, and it was really beneficial for Grant to have the weekly substantive meetings he had with Andrea's team. It wasn't just practical, but it was intellectually amazing for Grant to have this opportunity. And I don't think that the in-house law firm practitioners really appreciate the gap that exists right now in this area between the in-house and the law firm legal operations environment.
So it's been a few months since our secondment ended. What's happened since then?
Well, for Grant, this has been a huge career development for him. He was brand new to legal operations. As you said, he was a contracts manager at Siemens. And so spending 2 months fully immersed inside your KM team, having the boot camp, being able to work on the legal technology applications, it gave Grant a real sense of how exciting a career in this area could be. And the skills that he learned while he was there, he's been able to bring back to our team, and he's now the new legal operations manager for our legal department.
So significant impact on his career. For us too, it actually had a big impact on somebody's career at Stegman Elliott. By having Grant fill the role on a temporary basis, we were really able to see evaluate the role, see what it was like to have somebody in the role. We rejigged some of the job responsibilities and reevaluated our needs with respect to it. So after the secondment finished, we did a bit of restructuring and were able to promote from within the KM team to someone to take on a similar role to what Grant was doing. So 2 careers that were impacted by our secondment.
It's fantastic.
I know. So the last question, would you do it again?
Absolutely. I do it myself with my general counsel, and you would let me. It was a fantastic opportunity for both of us.
And we would absolutely do it again, although I think we were very spoiled by working with Siemens Canada. I'm just so glad that you and Richard called and that we were able to work it out.
Thanks.